Remember, knowledge, it ain't free. You got to pay attention.
And they're off in the Kentucky Derby.
You're watching Past the Wire TV, the biggest races at the best tracks. From the Kentucky Derby to the Breeders' Cup. The best horse racing coverage is right here on Past the Wire TV.
Hey, Sure Bet Coffee. Put that giddy up in your cup. That giddy up in your cup. Sure Bet Coffee.
Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up.
Remember, blood makes you related. Loyalty makes you family.
Go.
Ciao tutti. Hope everyone is well. Hope everyone enjoyed a huge 2 days of racing with the Kentucky Oaks and Kentucky Derby cards now in the books. The big dance is over, but there are a lot of big dances left to dance going forward, and we're going to talk a little about that today. You know, I like journalism. I was on him for a long time. I didn't like him Derby Day because I had been on him for a long time. I thought he was the best horse. I thought he would handle a slop. I think he ran a big race. I think Umberto rode a great race, but Sovereignty was better on the day for sure. And Junior also rode a phenomenal race. And Baeza showed up and ran big too. And Pratt rode a great race and had some trouble. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about some key points we can take away from the Run for the Roses that might benefit us going forward. So we'll do a little Kentucky Derby aftermath, and we'll do a little Preakness Forethought as well, because the Preakness is right now only about a week and a half away. So actually a little less. I waited to do a Derby recap, which Big Race Jim kind of did one, so I felt like I didn't have to. But a couple of people wrote, well, what did you think? So I figured, all right, we'll weigh in. We didn't want to saturate the market, but we'll weigh in a little bit. First thing I'll say about the Derby, and this is, you know, I call it the way I see it. Anybody that doesn't like it, doesn't matter to me. But the coverage is atrocious. It's tough to watch for a number of reasons. Number one, the show, the NBC coverage. I think it's NBC, whatever it is. It's just not geared towards, you know, a horse player or a gambler at all. I mean, I don't think we saw much of the horses in the paddock. Forget about a will pay, pick 3 payoffs, pick 4 payoffs, and all of that would be fine. Okay, you want to have a show that's catered to, I don't know who, casual fans, whatever. People got nothing better to do. People got nothing else to watch. I don't know who's watching that show. But, you know, we're kind of forced to watch it because RTN, whatever it is that I subscribe to, they have to pull the broadcast. They can't show you the track feed for whatever reason. I guess the contract with NBC is just bullshit. So you're kind of forced to watch that ridiculous coverage and those stories that, you know, it's game day for a lot of us. We got our game faces on. We're betting. We want to get in the zone. And, you know, they make it really difficult. So they just totally, in my opinion, with that whole stuff, just slight the true horse players and the gamblers. who, I've been saying it for years to deaf ears. Two groups put money into the game. Everybody else is taking money out of the game. Gamblers and owners. They're putting money in. We're putting money in. Everybody else is taking it out. I think they should cater to us a little bit. I mean, I don't know what I'd rather watch. Uh, Paint dry, grass grow, or that ridiculously horrible Kentucky Derby coverage for hours, 90 minutes between the turf race and the Derby. I mean, you could make dinner, eat dinner, take a nap, and and watch the Derby. I mean, it's just, I get it. It's all about money and their big weekend, and Churchill Downs in reality survives off that weekend, I guess. But I mean, it's tough for people like me to watch that. I mean, I got to mute it and can't pay attention, and it's hard to really, stay focused and stay in your horse playing frame of mind uh, when they're ramming all that other shit down your throat, which I mean, most of us don't care about. And I'll go on record as saying it. And I've had the $5,000 one, whatever it is in the glass. I spilled it out. A mint julep. I mean, I love the Derby and I love the weekend and I love the action and the pools and the opportunities to score. But if you've ever had a mint julep, that thing tastes like poison. Poison to me, anyway. I don't know. Some people say, "Oh, well, it's an acquired taste." I don't like anything that's an acquired taste. Something good should taste good right away. I mean, I live in Florida. I can tell you this: go have a glass of fresh squeezed orange juice right off the tree. Forget about it. That ain't an acquired taste. It's delicious. Pineapple, same thing. A lot of things. Uh, Ice cold glass of water on a hot day. You don't have to acquire it. That mint julep, ugh. It's like, ugh. Again, I still got the glass, the silver glass. I don't even know if it's sterling silver. It should be for $5 grand, but I don't know if it is or not. But I got it in the cabinet and I spilled the drink out. It was disgusting. I couldn't even find somebody to give it to because it tasted that bad. But tradition. We'll get a little bit more in tradition in a minute. Uh, but that's my first knock on the Derby, and they do it to us every year with the forced watching wherever the heck they go with that NBC making nobody else be able to show it. I really don't like that at all. I think we should be able to watch it where we want it. And, those of us that pay for an RTN subscription, we shouldn't get locked out on the biggest day of the year. That's ridiculous. We should be able to watch it there. Where the bettors, the gamblers, we should be able to watch it where we want to watch it, not be forced to watch all that shit that some of us really could give a hoot about. This social media guy that, like, supposedly got involved promoting it with Sandman, this, that. I didn't even see him. I don't even know who he is because just I didn't watch a lot of that stuff, so I can't comment on what he didn't do, whether he's good for the game, bad for the game, nothing for the game. Because I mean, I didn't see anything the guy did, so it would be wrong for me to say anything about it. So I'm not going to weigh in on that. But the coverage overall, in my opinion, stinks. Jerry Bailey, super knowledgeable guy. I don't think they use him nearly as good as they could use him. Uh, those other people giving bets, this, that, here and there with their bankrolls. I mean, I don't know how good they are or aren't, but I don't even think they use them right. I mean, it's really a show for. And again, I don't know who. I don't know. I don't know who, but I know not for me, and I think probably not for a lot of you too. The coverage is definitely something that could be drastically improved, in my opinion. Now, tradition. Um, I'm a traditional person. I'm an old school person. I've been around horse racing a long time. I've seen, what is it, five Triple Crown winners. Uh, Secretariat, Affirmed, Seattle Slew, American Pharaoh, Justified. That's five. All right. What I will tell you is this: they've always been rare. They've frequently come in spurts with long spaces in between them. And it takes a very special kind of horse, special kind of trainer, and some luck to win the Triple Crown. And it's always been one of the hardest things to do and accomplish in sports as a whole. The Triple Crown ain't easy, and it was never designed and or supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be one of the toughest things in all of sports, which is why it essentially immortalizes you and the connections of the horse. And when I say you, I'm talking about the horse. Uh, and it's just an incredible feat. And you know, when Belmont announced that Sovereignty wasn't going to run, it sparked social media uproar with everybody opining and whining on what he should or shouldn't do, or what he does or doesn't owe to the game, and what the horse does or doesn't owe to the game. The horse doesn't owe anything to the game, and neither does Belmont. It's not about that in this situation. It's about the trainer and the connections doing what they think is best for their individual horse. Now, I've always been against moving the dates for the reasons that I articulated leading up to this point in the show. And I'm also of the opinion that, trainers and owners should decide what's best for their horse based on the individual horse. I don't think that anybody has an obligation to run into Preakness because they won the Kentucky Derby, or because they owe it to the fans, or because that's what racing wants to see, or because that's what racing needs, if they don't think it's best for their horse. And, from a business decision, if you have a horse that wins the Derby and you're looking to campaign him throughout the year, and you really want to win the Breeders' Cup Classic, you really want to have a shot to maybe win the Travis too, is running back in 2 weeks the best thing to put you in a position to do that, and to maybe also have a chance to run the horse at 4? And that's a whole nother story, whether they want to run at 4. It's easy to sit here on this chair, on your couch, or wherever anybody may be, and say, oh, I would do this, I would do that. Well, then get a horse, win the Derby, and decide what you would want to do. People are going to do what they think is best for their horse and financially, uh, you know, and that's that. And I don't think anybody should be whining or opining on it. Would we like to see a horse go for the Triple Crown? Of course. Is it good for racing? Of course, it's good for the hype. It's good for the sport. It's exciting, but it ain't the be all end all, and it ain't what the game is gonna make or break on. It is what it is, and I got no argument or gripe with anybody who does go or doesn't go. I remember when Spenderbuck won the Kentucky Derby. They were offering some ridiculous bonus if you win the Jersey Derby. He said, screw the Preakness, Cam Gambelotti and the owners. They went, screw the Preakness, and went right to the Jersey Derby, or wherever it is they went. And I think they gutted out the win. So, everybody was upset then. Oh, how do you not run into Preakness? Well, they went for the money. Their prerogative. Years ago, horses ran a lot more often, and it was much more common to come back in 2 weeks. Bill Mott doesn't come back in 2 weeks often at all. He's a patient trainer and likes to run his horses fresh, off breaks, off layoffs. Ain't no doubt about that. I mean, he's been that way for the big majority of his career. He's going to change now with a horse that wins the Kentucky Derby? I don't think so. I mean, I don't know why anybody would think so. You don't change what you're doing and what you've been successful at and what puts you in the Hall of Fame and makes you one of the best in the game because, oh, well, that's what everybody wants to see. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't go that way. And I don't think any of us should expect it or should catch a tune or be all butthurt because Sovereignty is not running in the Preakness. Preakness is going to be a good race. There's going to be a lot of good races throughout the year. Hopefully, Sovereignty winds up in some of them and stays good, and that's horse racing. But again, they don't run back in 2 weeks often. Now, it was a different game way back when. Citation, Triple Crown winner. Okay, wins the Preakness. Wins the Derby, wins the Preakness, runs in between the Preakness and the Belmont. And he's not the only Triple Crown winner from that era to do that. Okay? Today, could you imagine a horse winning the Derby, winning the Preakness, running in between the Preakness and the Belmont, and winning them all? No way. You'd never see that in today's game. Rick Dutrow win a grade one at Saratoga off 2 or 3 days rest. Oscar Barrera used to run horses off 2 3 days rest. Nowadays, it's extremely rare. The game is changing, and that's led me to take the opinion that, you know what, I'd love the Triple Crown to stay the same, and if it does, don't cry, boo-hoo. We will see another Triple Crown winner, God willing. Those of us that are around long enough, it's going to happen again. And if they change it, it will also happen. Uh, if they change it and they space the Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont a month apart, uh, you'd probably get bigger fields. You'd probably get a lot more Derby winners running back in the Preakness. We've had several that have opted not to of late because the game's changed, the breeds changed, the training styles have changed, the medications have changed. Things change and evolve. I mean, I always say things change but stay the same, but they change and they evolve. And maybe, and I'm not saying I'm for it. I'm just saying I could live with either way. Uh, the traditionalist in me love to see it stay the same, but the realism of the matter and the practicality in me makes me say, hey, if they change it, they change it. We'll play the hand we're dealt either which way. Nobody going to listen to us anyway. And, you know, the odds of them changing it and it being successful and smooth are pretty slim. Because think about it this way. This is an industry that can't friggin' stagger the post times of stake races on a Saturday afternoon. You think they're going to be able to work out and coordinate all of this? Naira is probably not going to want to change the date of the Belmont. Pimlico, I don't know. They're kind of hanging on by a thread with that Preakness. They may wind up moving that somewhere else, making that the last leg. Who knows? But opining and whining, that's for somebody else, not me. I could deal with it either which way, and that's that. So, and I encourage you to all think the same. You know, no point worrying about and being all butthurt about what you can't change, and nobody cares what you think about it anyway, because as bettors, and I think the majority of people who watch this show and watch me are people that, you know, participate in turf speculation, as we'll call it. Uh, Nobody cares what we think or what we want in this game. I mean, racing has gotten to the point where they shun gamblers. They're core customers. They're worried about this social media guy. And again, I didn't see what he did, but everybody's opining and whining on this poor guy too, or maybe this rich guy, whatever it is, doesn't matter to me. But everybody's whining and opining. Oh, it's good for the game. Oh, it's bad for the game. Oh, it's going to bring in new fans. Oh, it's not. Let me tell you something. The last thing in the world that horse racing, in my opinion, should be worried about right now is bringing in new fans. Why? Because as quick as they could bring them in, which they can't do, but as quick as they bring them in, they're going to run them right out. Until you fix a lot of issues in this game and take care of you and me, your core customers. If you can't take care of the customers that you have now, how the heck are you going to take care of customers you bring in the door? Makes no sense. 0 cents. That's just such an ass backwards business model and philosophy. I don't understand anybody worrying about, we gotta get new people into the game. No, not now. We don't. We gotta fix the issues in the game and take care of the customers we already have in the game before we start worrying about bringing new people into the game. That's just asinine. Uh, Good luck with that, man. And it's just ridiculous. Uh, Take care of your customers. Now, with all that said, we'll get back to the Derby takeaways. Uh, Aftermath, whatever you want to call it, makes no difference. I'm calling it Aftermath because Jim called his show what I usually do, which is the Derby takeaways. But that's fine. He brought up some good points and some points that I would have made myself. Uh, you know, Gio was on sovereignty forever, since the beginning. We did a show months ago where he and I agreed that journalism and sovereignty were the two best horses heading into the Derby, and it stayed that way, and it played out that way, and they ran that way. And Baeza put himself right into that mix, uh, being a lightly raced, inexperienced horse. Probably had the worst trip of the three. Was certainly the most inexperienced and green of the three. And one or two more jumps might have been second. Probably would have been second. So, that said, you know, everything logical, and horse racing is not always logical, but everything logical says Baeza is going to be a tough SOB to beat coming out of that race and going forward. Uh, the other thing we got to remember is, Sovereignty beat Journalism on the square. Both great rides, both, you know, Journalism had a little banging around, but early in the race, but Umberto exercised him from that position, put him in a great spot, got him in the right position, moved at the right time, did everything but close the deal. And if you watch the replay, Junior, he knew who Journalism was, and he followed every move that Umberto made. He was right behind him when Journalism and Umberto cued and went. He followed right behind him and was able to run him down. But that was on a sloppy track. Would it have been the same on a fast track? We don't know that yet. So although Sovereignty beat him on the square in the Derby, doesn't mean he's going to beat him on the square next time. And I would go as far as to say this: if those three horses line up in the Belmont at Saratoga at 1.25 miles, as opposed to the Belmont at 1.5 miles, it's a whole nother issue we won't get into now. But should that happen, at this early juncture, just based off watching the Derby, if we had no past performances, nothing, we just watched the Derby, know the history of the horses, I would say that I'd probably land on Journalism or Baeza, both before Sovereignty, looking to turn the tables on him. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, and I'm not saying that's how I'm gonna wind up if and when the time comes. But I'm saying right now that would be my early thought because of what we said about Baeza and the racetrack fact. Uh, on a fast track, if Journalism gets that jump on him, can he close the deal? Don't know. Flip side. What if, and this is something that I would do if I was a rider. I'm not, but I would. If I was Umberto Rispoli and they lined us up in the gate on a fast track at Saratoga, I would say, you know what? My horse is big, long striding horse with a hell of a kick. This racetrack is honest. I'm going to take back and I'm going to funnel Sovereignty and make him my target and try and nail him. Bing. What'll happen? I don't know if they'll do that. I don't know if Mike McCarthy would be on board with that. I don't know if Umberto would agree with me on that. I will talk to him before the Belmont, and I will eloquently and delicately throw that out there. Just plant the seed. You never know, because I remember another rider friend of mine when he was riding Roberto Arroyo. We had a conversation before a race, and I told him what I thought, and he won the race. And he goes, it's funny. He goes, I'm riding the race, and the trainer told me one thing, you told me another thing, and I'm out here doing what you told me to do, and I won. So you never know. But we'll see. But I know Sovereignty said he's out. I know Baeza said he's out. Journalism was originally out. Now maybe he's in. I don't think so. Again, I'm not going to question trainers. When I want to make those decisions, I'll go out and try and buy a horse that's good enough to run in these races, and then I'll be able to make those decisions. But now I got to say, in my, humble wagering fan, student of the game opinion, it would be a mistake to run Journalism back in 2 weeks off that race. I'd stick to the plan, go for the Belmont, maybe go for the Travers and try and have a relatively, fresh and blossoming horse first weekend in November at Del Mar. That's me. Or last weekend in October, whatever it is this year. But that's just me. But going into the Preakness with the ones we think are going to go, I got a little opinion there. Uh, we're early out, but I would say this: Rodriguez didn't get in the Derby. little extra time. You know, with some trainers, a little time is bad. With some trainers, a little extra time is good. Bob is one of those ones that a little extra time is great. And he just, you know, he tightens those screws. Gazga impressed me. River Thames didn't run in the Derby. Looks like a Preakness kind of horse. And Hill Road, you know, it's been a tough road for me on tracking trips. On seminar didn't work out. A lot of that, I believe, is because of the rain. I mean, Ironman Cow just had no shot on that yielding turf course. The winner was 2 for 2 on those kind of courses. So, you know, coming off the layoff, his work was cut out for him. We did nail Raging Sea, but, you know, all that aside. But, you know, going back to last year's Breeders' Cup, Hill Road was 30-1. I liked him in the juvenile. He ran third. He may run into Preakness. Now he's with Chad Brown, and I thought he was a dirt horse when he came from Europe, and now it looks like I could be right. You know, he looks like he could be heading to the Preakness the right way if he goes that way. But, you know, Rodriguez, Gazga, River Thames, and Hill Road would all be on my radar. And none of them ran in the Derby. The ones that ran in the Derby, and usually the horses that run in the Derby have an edge over the, quote, what they call new shooters in the Preakness. I don't know that that's going to be the case this year. It could be, but I tend to think that some of these new shooters, especially the 4 I got scrolling across the bottom of our screen right there, are live and dangerous. So we'll see how that plays out at this early juncture. Let's clear something else up about Pimlico while it's still standing. The place is really run down. I mean, it's an adventure just navigating a day at Pimlico. But myths, the turns are tight. Bullshit, they're not. They're sweeping. It favors speed. Bullshit, it doesn't. It's a pretty honest racetrack. Those are 2 myths about Pimlico that people tend to incorporate into their Preakness handicapping and think it's a strong, smart angle to feed and play off of, and it's just really not a fact. So it is what it is. Some of you will be pleased with this, and that's really it about the Derby aftermath and the Preakness Forethought. But this may make some of you happy. I think next Thursday night, a week from today, the Preakness preview live on Past the Wire TV with Big Race Jim, Gio, and yours truly, just like our Saratoga shows last year. Live, of course, it stays up on the channel, so you can watch the replay if you don't catch it. I think we're planning on doing it, schedules permitting, next Thursday, 8 o'clock EST. Be there, or we'll come looking for you. And that's really all I got for this show. So thank you all for tuning in. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It helps us. We appreciate it. We appreciate all of you. And hopefully we will see most of you and then some on Thursday night. So until then, whatever you do, never, ever, ever let them get you alive.
You're watching Past the Wire TV.
Tracking trips at Past the Wire, no matter what your level of play is. You know, people play the horses for all types of reasons: the action, the excitement, the thrill, the challenge. Some, believe it or not, even play expecting to lose. Me, I don't have that problem. I play to win and take down scores and have been doing it successfully for a long time. This is the life I've chosen. Don't go into battle alone. I do that. And you can have me and Tracking Trips as your second set of eyes. You can be a better. Let's win this fight. Patience, discipline, like a cobra, ready to strike at the right time. When we win, we celebrate, and we celebrate hard, because the rewards make all of it worth it. Nobody does it better. Tracking Trips at Past the Wire. Be a member, unless of course you hate money.
Here comes journalism, here comes sovereignty, and they square off, heading to the final front. Sovereignty wins the Derby!
You're watching Past the Wire TV. Hit that like button and subscribe to Past the Wire TV. Nobody does it better.
Nobody does it better.